Hey everyone, it's Miss Green. So we just talked about decoding, and now we're going to take time to talk about composing. So, what is composing? The word compose means to write or create a work of art, especially music. So, authors write books, but composers write music. And today, we, and eventually you, for the show What You Know, are going to be a composer and try to write 2 bars of music. So, let's learn about it. What can you use to compose with today? Well, you can use the following to make your composition. It's the same exact as the decoding. So you can use a quarter note for 1 beat. You can use a quarter rest for 1 beat, and it's kind of hard to see because I'm screencasting, but these are 2 eighth notes, and you can use those for 1 beat as well. So wait a minute, Miss Green, what am I doing? What is composing? I'm confused. No problem. I made this checklist, which is a perfect way to show that if you have these 3 things in your composition, you are good to go. If you have 4 beats in each measure, that's what I'm looking for. No more, no less. We're going to talk about it. We are in 4/4 time for our composition, or common time with a C. So we need 4 beats in each measure. We need 1 beat under each line, and that will make a little more sense in the next slide. And you need 1 of each in your composition, just like we went over in the last slide. 1 quarter note, 1 quarter rest, and a pair of eighth notes. So, whoops, went ahead of myself. So here's an example slide, and here's our checklist. So let me there we go. So here's an example of what your composition could look like. Let's go through the checklist and see if this is a good example. So the first thing we're looking for is 4 beats in each measure. Here we have our C for our common time, or 4/4. So let's double check. We have a quarter note, that gets 1 beat. We have a quarter rest, that gets 1 beat. We have a quarter note again, 1 beat, and a quarter rest, 1 beat. 4 beats, we're good to go. Take some time. Check if this measure is right too. Did you get it? Yeah, we're good to go. A pair of eighth notes gets 1 beat, another pair of eighth notes gets 1 beat, quarter note, 1 beat, and quarter note, 1 beat. So now you can see that these are lines. I made a line and then I put a number 1 to show 1 beat. And I put 4 lines in each measure. There's our bar line, then 4 lines in another measure. So this is where this second rule in our checklist comes in. There should be 1 beat under each line. So for example, if we were not doing this right, if you had 2 quarter notes under this one, that wouldn't work because that's 2 beats instead of 1 beat. So we are good to go here in our example. And lastly, we need 1 of each. Let's see, do we have a quarter note? Yep, right here. Do we have a quarter rest? Yep, we have at least 1. And do we have at least 1 pair of eighth notes? Yep, right here in measure 2. So this is a good example, and this is what your composition could look like. Don't copy this exact one. You can do one that's very similar, or you can make up your own. So, lastly, let's practice together in case you're still really, really confused and overwhelmed. So I'll get out let's see. Let me explain. When you go to do this and show what you know, I'll have an assignment for you that's a Google slide deck, and you'll actually be able to click on these and drag these down. So here's you could drag the quarter rest, or you could drag the quarter note, or you could drag the eighth notes, but I will draw for right now. So let's compose 2 measures together. Remember the checklist. If you can't remember, just go back 1 slide to make sure you have everything. So the first thing in our checklist was 4 beats in each measure. So what should we start with? Yeah, quarter rest sounds good. So we'll draw our quarter rest. Oh, that was a rough quarter rest, but I can tell what it is. What should we do next? A pair of eighth notes, that sounds good. So let's double check, that's 1 beat. What about next? A quarter note, sure. Whoop. And another quarter rest, I like it. So there we go. I'm going to have you guys think of something to do for measure 2. And then I'll also have you guys click next, go to show what you know, and try your hand at composing. Thanks, everybody. Hope this helped. See you next time.